Over the past few decades, our movies have trended darker and grittier. From the early successes of Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight trilogy to the more recent successes of R-rated movies like Deadpool and Wolverine and TV shows like The Boys. But here's the thing. While there's room for Homelander and Deadpool, not every superhero movie has to be an ultra-violent spectacle or an edgy, dark take on a hopeful and wholesome hero. We've got to allow room for the next generation of superhero fans to bloom. Hello and welcome. I'm Ken McPhail, and this is... The new Superman movie is full of optimism and hope. It breathes new life into the Superman mythos and brings him back to his roots at the same time. This Superman isn't a nigh invulnerable and indestructible godlike being. He's incredibly strong and nearly invulnerable, but he can be hurt and moved by enough force. This Superman feels and cares for people, exclaiming people were going to die, as his reasoning for interfering with the invasion of Jarhanpur. In Man of Steel, Henry Cavill is wasted on a subversive Superman that doesn't fit in with humanity and doesn't even try. Look, I think Henry Cavill is a great actor, but I also think he was given a script that severely misunderstands and misinterprets the source material. In Man of Steel, he's a loner, staying on the outskirts of society and moving on when he compromises his identity. This doesn't fit with Superman, who at his core needs the people around him. It's his humanity and his connections to his loved ones that make him who he is. Man of Steel rips the heart from Superman and replaces it with muted colors and a mess of existential dread and objectivist themes. Objectivism is a philosophy coined by Ayn Rand that emphasizes self-interest, laissez-faire capitalism, and individualism. She and her followers believe that the current state of the world is due to unchecked altruism. Her philosophy is also very shallow and basic. Its main tenets are just common knowledge dressed up to sound profound. From AynRand.org, Ayn Rand's philosophy, objectivism, begins by embracing the basic fact that existence exists. Reality is. And in the quest to live, we must discover reality's nature and learn to act successfully in it. They tout embracing reason as absolute, but then just accept the rest of the bullshit as tautological truth instead of an excuse to be a selfish asshole. The purpose of morality, Rand argues, is to teach us what is in our self-interest, what produces happiness. Now you might be asking, what does Ayn Rand have to do with Superman? And you'd be right to question it, because she has jack shit to do with Superman, but everything to do with Man of Steel. Zack Snyder thinks that the Fountainhead is a perfect allegory for making movies, and his reading of Rand shows up in Man of Steel.
Pitched him Fountainhead because I happen to just like it because to me it's a direct comment on making a movie.
Jonathan Kent espouses the necessity of extreme individualism and the prioritization of self-interest. He tells Clark that it's okay to just let people die sometimes, even though he can save them. He teaches him to defy the innate instincts of altruism within him. Ultimately, he chooses to die rather than let his son save him from a tornado. Now later, Clark says,
I let my father die because I trusted him.
Jonathan also consistently alienates Clark from his classmates. Everything about Man of Steel sets out to completely subvert the Superman story in favor of some edgier narrative. Pa Kent in Superman is a salt-of-the-earth farmer. He's a simple man with a heart so big his wife calls him a mush. The relationship between Pa Kent and Clark, while brief on screen, is filled with love, and the only fear is fear that his son is hurt. These tender moments show us the love Clark must have been surrounded by growing up to become the man he is. This Jonathan is an example of positive masculinity. He's not afraid of his feelings or showing them, and his influence is seen in Clark's behavior throughout the movie. I can't stress enough how great it is to have a hopeful and fun Superman who actually interacts with people. I watched it with my family, and we all enjoyed it. I can't say the same about Man of Steel, which is such a slog to get through with its dreary tone. The movie is entirely too self-serious for the source material, which includes a fifth-dimensional imp named Mr. Mxyzptlk, who uses his reality warping powers to torment Superman for fun, for crying out loud. Luckily, Superman is full of weird things from the comics like Metamorpho and his son Baby Joey, interdimensional portals, a pocket universe, and so much more. It felt like watching an extended live-action Superman the Animated Series episode, like a comic book come to life. Superman spent the majority of his time saving people and animals from danger rather than just punching everything really hard until the problem goes away. He's actually heroic and tries as hard as he can to prevent collateral damage, even getting mad at the Justice Gang for not being careful when fighting the kaiju.
Come on, be careful!
Now, I'm not saying this movie is perfect. It's not. It has issues with pacing that left some slower viewers in the dust.
And so that means it's all kind of a mess? It's an overstuffed movie in every way.
The plot is a schizophrenic mess that drops you right into the middle of a story that's halfway told already.
It isn't a rage bait. If you watch this movie, try to make out the structure. Who greenlit this script? Is there a beginning, a middle, or even an end?
Hi, Editing Ken here. I'd just like to step in for a moment and talk about this. What they're talking about is called in medias res, and I have the definition up on screen. It is a storytelling technique that is used by many authors and storytellers the world over. They're acting like it's new because they think you're dumb. And some serious moments are undercut with levity when they didn't need to be. But overall, James Gunn understands Superman in a way that Zack Snyder couldn't. While these may be gods and monsters, they're as human as the rest of us. And that's what makes them great. By setting Superman on a pedestal high above the rest of us, to look down on humanity, you take away the very heart that makes Superman who he is. You take away the core of his character. In Man of Steel, Clark grapples with moral uncertainty. Yes, saving those kids on the bus was the right thing to do, but doing so put his family in danger. His father tells him that maybe he should have let those kids die. The existential question is answered with objectivist philosophy. Superman is taught to be isolationist and look out for himself most of all. The film itself deals with themes of choice and freedom, but falls flat on delivering a solid message that isn't hindered by a Superman who is more self-centered and pessimistic than altruistic. Superman spends most of the movie bemoaning himself as an outsider, while in a self-imposed lone wolf phase. It's indicative of a writer and director who don't understand Superman at all. Superman was conceived as a champion of the oppressed. His first issues were written about real issues that affected regular people. He fought off anti-Semites and protected the weak and mistreated. He was a hero that was desperately needed as World War II began in Europe. His creators, Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, worked diligently to tell stories that would bring hope to the hopeless. This is again where the heart of Superman lies, in his hope and optimism. James Gunn understood this and injected heart into every fiber of his new Superman movie, and for that I am grateful. When times get rough and everything seems dystopian, it's easy to get bogged down with the weight of it all. This Superman gives us hope for a better tomorrow, if we can all just pull together. If we can all just be a little kinder, maybe the world will be a better place. That's what Superman represents, the kindness and the hope for a better future in all of us. He isn't one of us, but he is the best of us. He's an immigrant who loves America and the people in it, no matter who they are. He's the kind of guy to give someone the shirt off his back if it would keep them warm, and we could use a lot more of that in the world. The Superman in Man of Steel is, however, cold and other. He wrestles with questions of identity and the responsibility of those with power. He's a god walking among mortals, and his choices can and do end the lives of thousands. This Superman doesn't care about collateral damage. This is further explored in Batman vs. Superman, where we see the destruction caused by two titans clashing from Bruce Wayne's point of view, and how traumatic it was to be a regular person that day. So much so that it caused Bruce to hunt him down as a genuine threat to humanity. James Gunn's Superman, on the opposite end of the spectrum, is very cognizant of collateral damage and actively tries to prevent it where he can. He prevents the kaiju from knocking over a building, takes its corpse to an empty park, and prevents an empty building from falling on a woman trying to evacuate, to name a few. He wants to save everyone because he believes that everyone is worthy of saving, that everyone deserves a chance. Ultimately, Superman is a more accurate and faithful movie to the source material, and Man of Steel will always be a weird piece of Superman history where the director did Watchmen and then couldn't make any other superhero movie after that without injecting it with cynicism and his own brand of gritty realism. Sadly, there are grown men all over the internet that can't wrap their head around the fact that superhero movies aren't supposed to be only for adults. They moan about the new movie being too silly or childish, not realizing that Superman has always been meant for a broad audience which includes mostly children. They cry that Superman is too woke, not realizing that Superman has always been the champion of the oppressed. These are very unserious people whose only exposure to Superman is through Zack Snyder and Injustice, and it shows. Luckily for comic book fans, their opinions don't matter, because as of writing this, James Gunn has confirmed that David Cornsweet will continue his role as Superman despite the protests of a vocal minority that are still obsessed with a canceled property. And no, I'm not talking about Firefly fans.
Captain, we're humped. Prep the ship.
Thank you all for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe to see more videos like this. Have fun, and I'll see you in the next one.